I'm doing this now, aren't I?
Yep. That's right. What do you think?
What?
Inspector?
Uh, Inspector sounds interesting. I'm.
Think on a name.
Uh,
I mean, it doesn't have to be right now.
yeah.
My logic behind it being outside of the rank structure is so it's not only conveys the role, but also ensures there's not a feeling of like, why are you taking someone's potential job? You know what I mean? Like those kind of things. Obviously, whatever it lands on, there will be, I'm sure, some pushback, but if, this conversation that was had right here sort of
Why don't we
continues
just take
on.
a title off it? But no title.
People got
I work with the
AC/DC.
mayor.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that.
We don't need to put a title. It sounds less.
But it's going to have to be on your government page, right? So it would show up as officer otherwise.
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah, we probably should start the conversation. I'm going to ask you this. I foresee you as being someone that should be inside the police department, on radio, in the halls, observing. However, if that is much, the alternative would be being in the cabinet, and that would allow you to actually observe. Do you envision something a bit different?
I want that, but that will be a horrible look on command. That would. Put yourself in those officers' shoes. Why is this guy overseeing? Why is he watching this? Why is he? There's something wrong. There's got to be something wrong if he's here, right? Oh, so and so's getting fired. Oh, this has happened. This has happened. It's not a good look. I think having radio, being able to hear what's going on the radios cruising by, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think if I have to carry around a tracker and
it unfortunately would come with
horrible.
the tool set.
Yeah,
Keep that in mind, right?
It's it's really it's not a good look on command, and we don't want to remove their authority or in any way, shape, or form hurt their authority, but actually help them, right? And authority is not the right word. It's their image. They need to be the top dogs. They need to be the people that the buck stops on them.
I'm gonna push a little bit back a bit. I think you're right that there is inherently going to be resentment, and there's going to be some level of like, who is this guy? What's going wrong? The fact of the matter is there is a lot that is very wrong, and I think that the cost of that is less than the value that it brings. And I'll underline it like this with some of the regressions I've seen over the last 6 weeks. Some of which culminated, what happened Saturday and other incidents throughout those six weeks, 2 months. Yeah, no, there is something very wrong. And I think in the same vein, yesterday when I spoke to High Command and really put my foot down, because I've been very sympathetic, apathetic, little mix of both. But I've realized that I've got to be stern. And some of that is, I think, really lit a fire under their ass. And I don't think necessarily some of these officers having a bit more fire under their ass is a bad thing.
What's your opinion if we waited until the next, check-in with High Command?
Yes,
If it
100%.
goes south from there,
Yeah,
then we do something like this.
I agree.
Because it seems like they have conversations going. They understand at least
Mm-mm.
what's being portrayed to them by you, and
It's going to be too late. So I would agree to that if this wasn't a pattern problem. Like these conversations have been had many times over, right? And the unfortunate thing is it's come back with empty promises.
you're saying these communication conversations have happened.
I would say about I'd say 3 out of 4 times the communication happens and they both go off duty. I don't think they realize it. So there'll be like an issue. We agree that action needs to be taken, and then action isn't actually taken. I'll go over. There's a list of things that I'm actually looking to have documented in parallel to this. The need for training, for example. Training was supposed to happen way back in October. I pressed
They
on
haven't
that.
had an academy since October.
Academy hasn't been maybe since November, maybe even October. There was talk about like doing training modules, right? It was one of the key bits that needs to be instated. But I just assumed it was happening, right? And then obviously other things happen as well. But I learned yesterday that it was because no one wanted to do the modules, right?
What was a module?
Like modules, like his RSMPC, or all of them. Like people didn't sign up for it.
No one wanted to do any of them.
Yeah.
That's
while I
tough.
think this was a very valuable conversation, I found that most of the value actually came up with their receptiveness to your opinion. But this is a critical term, and to give you a little bit more purview, is the marshals are in a very good spot. The OJ's getting in a very good spot. I think Blaine County's getting in a really good spot, and there's a strong feeling of like, let's reset, right? Let's put back the bad grudges and let's build San Andreas up. And I need to ensure that I'm doing my part in that rebuilding process. And so,
well, yeah, I think
and I think part of this role would include, you're a part of this conversation, observing. And I want to be very careful here, right? I'm not asking you to be like a spy or like a snitch or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? This is where we're about to go with this. But rather as what these conversations were, right? And you would be privy to, as would other rest of command, what my expectation list is going to be, right? Here's what I'm looking for over the next month, right? As the mayor, right? Like, I don't know what that list is going to look like a plan for training or, whatever those line items are, like 3-4 of them, high level.
You're going to provide that to them, what your expectations are, right?
Correct. Yes. That's one part of it.
A lot of what we talked about, the fixes that required to happen, I obviously wasn't privy to any of the prior conversations that y'all had about the issues, but they take time, and you're not going to see a difference overnight. You're not going to see a difference even over a week potentially, but
and that's
over
where
time,
I think
a pattern has to emerge.
And I want you to be able to observe that pattern, right?
Okay.
So that when there is the bigger check-in, right? Obviously these things don't have an open night, but by you being able to not only be in the thick of observing, is it, and not necessarily checklisting them, right? But being privy and seeing how it's getting developed. If things do stagnate, you'll have the context, but also the ability, it's like, hey, when I come in and I'm like, hey, this isn't happening, you can help provide some of that guidance. You know what I mean? I'm being very like loose here in terms of
right.
of how I'm seeing this.
I understand what you're saying in terms of the buy-in and the cost, and I think this is something we should have a conversation with the chief and assistant chief and see what
1,000%.
their take is. How
So,
where, let's let
yeah,
them choose where I go.
you know
How
what? I
involved I
agree.
am.
I agree. I do want to put a little bit of a proposal together. And what I'm thinking, and I'd like to hear your opinion, is 3 different options, right? So it's written and they see it, right? So it's not, in just, so there's no miscommunication, right? Is these 3 levels of where you could be brought in. And that document, we can use that as a conversation piece. And also, if they're agreeing to some of it, not a lot of it, or some other bits, we can like alter it, so that
They seem very willing and open and wanting to improve, which is huge, right? Obviously, actions speak louder than words. Results are king, but uh, you really gotta make sure they're. And I'm telling you this from somebody who is in their shoes. You got to make sure that it's their idea, that they're the ones who are putting forth the ultimate plan.
I agree. I
They
agree.
need to be on board on this, like
Yeah.
fully. I'm not talking about even partially. They need to be fully on board for this, and it seems they are. I don't think that's going to be a problem from based on the conversation we had. I really want to make sure that we follow through with that. That's how we're going to get results.
1,000%. Otherwise, it would, you know, we'd see a nod, but then you'd be sidelined, right? And
Right.
that's not productive.
Right.
Okay.
And hopefully, I don't believe I don't believe that's what happened here today. So I think there's.
I think as the conversation happened, they really wanted to really get you insight on things, and if anything, that's huge. There's like, so like one area, right, where I just find that you would be huge on, and I'm not sure if you had the context or you picked up on this, but like the Maxwell, right? A little bit of context. She's around like 10 hours a day from before tsunami till much afterwards, and I brought her up yesterday when speaking with Moss, and she is legitimately. If I got to pick up the phone, like if that building blew up behind us, and I'm like, I need to talk to someone, it's going to be Maxwell 9 out of 10 times. As she is the most capable, highest ranking member of LSPD, but also the most capable and responsible between both of the departments, right? And as regardless of department, most of the crime happens here. So as a consequence of all this, she's taking on this load, right? And she got spoken to today after I lit the fire under Moss yesterday, but they didn't have that conversation for weeks.
Step in the right direction.
Yes. And I think where I would love to see in a hypothetical world where if you were, let's say, in this position a month ago, it would be something where you might observe it, similar to how I observe it from the sidelines today. You might observe it internally, notice this, and be able to advise and say, hey, I'm noticing this, right? Well, what are we going to do about it? Well, here are some ways to solve it, right? Or like in the case of Maxwell, she's communicated to me, no one wants to do PNT. And you might say, well, have you tried doing this? Hey, let's go try that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm all for that. Like I
Yeah.
said, I just want to do it with the least amount of
Resistance. Yeah.
not just resistance, but I think of the word for it. I want to do it behind the scenes. I don't want to be, talking to officers and lieutenants or not.
Okay.
Well, maybe lieutenants. I don't want to be going from officer to officer and really asking, how you doing, right?
I agree with that. I agree.
So
Let me type something
let's
up.
find a happy medium. Yeah, let's find a happy medium and make sure again that the chief and assistant chief are it maybe not even make options. Maybe just list things that I could help with and then
Yes.
see what they come up with.
I like that.
They put forth something.
Okay. I will get you something, hopefully for tonight. Transparently, it may go into tomorrow since I wasn't expecting, a long conversation.
Yep.
And I got something I got to give to Port Center meeting I got late tonight. So let's start with there. I want you to take a look at it once I'm done. Give me pushback or alter things as you need, and then we'll re-engage.
Sounds good.
Slacks.
And what happened with them?
So before I became mayor, 6 months back, I'd taken a long vacation after I was told by the mayor that I would never get a business license, thus leading to unemployment of 60 mechanics and tow drivers. My entire business went kaput, right? A lot of that was it's because my niece Eve Summers and one of Max's his right hand person had beef because I guess their husbands, they were like related through their husbands were related, and I don't know, some family drama.
Oh.
It was embarrassing, that decision. He's a weak man, Max. And I walked out of there realizing that I got to, whatever. I took a break, right? Flew out, yachts, parties, whatever. I came back because I had an interest in just seeing what was going on and got my bar license, started representing people. And I quickly came to learn that law enforcement were pushing warrants on individuals outside of their shifts, right? But it was on something called criminal negligence of a firearm, a law that was so poorly written, it effectively meant that if a law enforcement officer did not appropriately document a lost gun, it would result in a warrant on civilians who are actually victims of a crime, not just of theft, but possible kidnappings or not kidnappings, but, robbery at gunpoint. And I was dealing with like 8 of these warrants at a time from people that were working on on essential services, sanitation, etc., etc. You probably remember how often sanitation used to get robbed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Those victims were the ones getting felonies. So I fought against it. LSPD, and unfortunately, I have to say, Ruby York was the ass chief at the time, gave me no time of day. I tried to, as a lawyer, find a middle ground because they weren't providing us with the FOIAs. And I came to learn that there was no law legislating and mandating law enforcement to provide reports unless it went to the docket. Somehow that got out. And I remember standing right there on that roof right there and talking to her and Slacks, and they said, well, legally, we don't have to give it to you. And it was my first realization that I needed to do something about it. In the midst of this, I went and met someone named Tilly Winters right there at Mission Road PD. I went there to request the FOIA and specifically try to get the legislation. It was called, I believe at the time, the Molten Act or something like that.
I remember something like that, yeah.
It was some utter fucking dog shit someone must have wrote while waking up out of bed and slammed it on a keyboard. Poor grammar, didn't make any sense, whatever. And Tilly and I got into got to know each other a little bit. She was receptionist, she'd help fulfill things, this front desk. And one day she came to me and told me that Slacks and 2 other individuals in the CID, I think they called it. I forgot what the 2... Slacks was running the CID. It was the detective unit at this point.
Okay.
2 other detectives under him. They had suspected her to be a member of Chang Gang. Also an accusation that I was getting. And thought she had gotten kidnapped with Coyote, another officer, up at the Humane Labs. And during that, she had her cell phone taken. And apparently her cell phone was given back with a SIM card in a trash can. And it was like 311. So an officer got it, retrieved it, put it into evidence. Instead of Tilly getting it back, and due to the accusations and her being sus and whatever, Slacks and the 2 detectives started to go through her cell phone.
Without a warrant?
Yes. They then went to her to seek permission post facto.
Ooh.
And there was threats of her job being on the line. It was very... And so, of course, I hear this. I have reasons to step away from it, but I assisted with getting her an attorney. And over the next 2.5 months, maybe 3 months, we had to wait for a court date. And Slacks at this point, he ended up posting on the docket because they were going to get fired, all 3 of them. And over this, right? Egregious civil rights violation. He decided not to show up at court, and he quit. One of the other officers, he was found guilty. And the 3rd officer, Riker. Officer Riker. Right. And the other one, her name was Maeve Wolf, I want to say.
Maeve Wolf. Sounds familiar, all right.
They were both quite decent. In fact, the unfortunate thing was, though, they drank a little bit too much of the Kool-Aid that was going through LSPD. The notion of protect your own at all costs. Even when a violation happens. Be it Slacks.
There's a fine line there, protecting and an accomplice.
It was quite bad. And it got worse. Is that they altered the reports and recovered for each other. Statements were changed. As they learned more was known to me and Tilly and her lawyer. And that came out in court as well. That's the precipice of...
I know.
No. He ended up going into the mountains. Worn down. In fact, he blames Tilly for it and me. I know this because after he escaped his court case and ran away from his warrant that was issued, he wanted to come talk to me and Tilly. Started telling me that the Armageddon's coming. And that Tilly did this. And I hope I'm happy. And, you know.
We're talking about Slacks here?
Yeah. And, maybe we can go meet him. Would you like to see the cave he's living in?
You telling me Slacks is living in a cave?
Yeah, and last I heard, he was working on a bomb. Well, I don't think he's quite figured it out.
What cave?
It's a cave off of Tongva Valley. There's the
boarded up one?
No, it's not boarded up. It's just west of the boat docks over there. The little boat rental place.
I know which one you're talking about. Okay.
Got a sleeping bag, some candles, and piles of old explosives.
I have to head up there one day and see what happened to him.
Yeah,
That's,
might be worth reaching out.
That's very surprising.
Things have very much, a lot of shit has rolled down the mountain, so to speak, and it wasn't just slacks. I mean, others in that commanding, after old captains, you, slacks and Ruth, you know, were taken out of your position. There was such a severe amount of corruption that started to fill the ranks. He just happened to be one of the ones caught out. Officers have leaked information. Hell, I was shot over there just a month ago by a gang whose family is in the BCSO, and their family members they came to take the evidence and the statements. I told them to fuck off. Because I know that they put out hits on me, and I know they put out hits on Peters. I know they don't believe that.
Officers' families or the officers?
The officers and their relatives in gangs.
And those are some officers to keep a very close eye on.
Oh, I have. And they know my feelings. Hell, after I was shot...
Who are they?
They got a... I'm going to keep the names to myself. And the reason is I'm curious when you come up with it on your own. I don't want to influence. I don't want to tarnish the clean slate you're coming in on.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's a little thing I like to do sometimes, right? It's kind of like if I feel a certain way and someone else comes to the same conclusion, it tells me I'm on the right mark.
You're thinking right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See what I come up with?
Yeah. I think over time will become a little bit more evident. But Turner, I don't
fire them then.
Turner, I don't want to keep you. I also got meetings to attend.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Perhaps we reconvene tomorrow.
Yep. I'll be around tomorrow. We can have a chat. See where things are at.
Oh. The strawberry donut and the secret menu items will remain once the smoothie stall reopens for good.
Oh, fantastic.
Hell yeah.
You know, these churros they're all right. They're not bad. But I could use an authentic strawberry glazed donut.
Wait a minute. The smoothie stall. Oh, my God. The guy's competitors got it. I think that there's 2 stalls with it now. They must have heard.
Oh, that's great. That's the senior buns, no?
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well.
Good. Fantastic.
Hell yeah. Okay. I thought we were about to get, held up.
Yeah. Where's a good place to get a vehicle repaired around here?
My recommendation, it's hard to say nowadays. The search for Project R. It's going to be a mechanic shop by LSIA. It's the old Benny's on the western side of the LSIA roadway. I think it's Utopia Drive.
Utopia Drive. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
all right.
I'll try to locate that. I'm gonna take a train, get back my apartment, grab my car, and go get it fixed up.
Oh yeah.
So,
please do let me know if you need anything, money, whatever it may be.
Will do. Appreciate it there.
Yeah. Also, I will at least temporarily get you added to my cabinet. This will give you access. I'll put you in as an advisor before this transitionary period. I mean, who knows? It could be a couple days, right? But at least this will give you the ability to sign in at City Hall, the City Council, and get access to the MDT. So, in case you want to, check up on things.
Yeah, I can take a look at that. I sign in with the front desk at City Hall.
That is correct.
Okay.
Let me just see.
And for the time being, I'm an advisor to the mayor.
That's right.
All right.
Hey, Nino.
How you doing, Justice Moray?
Yeah, I'm doing good. What's up?
Can you do you mind giving keys for one of my new cabinet members?
Yeah, what's the state ID?
What's your state ID?
1469.
1469.
1469. Okay.
Beautiful. Has Archibald gotten hired
added.
by any chance?
Hired by
Okay, I wasn't sure.
us?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on with that. That's I was asking because I want to re-add him to the cabinet otherwise.
I'll tell you that there is a possibility he may be hired.
Fired?
Hired.
Oh
by
my
us.
God! Yeah, it's the rain.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give it a day or so.
All right.
All right.
That person's added. Do you need me to give them MDT stuff, or can you do that?
I cannot give them. Oh no, you have to give them tags. I believe.
Let me do that. What was this? The state ID was 1469.
1469. Yep.
White Turner. Okay.
Yep.
All right. They've been given the LS mayoral staff tag.
Beautiful.
And I don't know if there's any email chain permissions, but I'll just see if that's the thing that needs done.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
All right. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Fantastic. You should be set. You may need to, cleanse your eyes in the restroom. And if you sign in at City Hall, you should be able to access the MDT. Obviously, it doesn't have reports and stuff like that, but, yeah.
I can read up on legislation at least and get up to speed and all that.
Absolutely. You know, this is... Do you see anything that you think is a discrepancy might make it difficult for law enforcement? It needs, like I'm open ears for that too. So, I think,
You talking from the mayor's office?
Yeah, like, you come across here something like, hey, this law is kind of shit, right? It's that kind of opinion is more than welcome as well. But I want you to know, Turner, is I've always I want you to feel things out, and if you have a passion that goes in whatever direction, please let me know. I'm always here to enable.
All right. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. All right. Do you need a ride anywhere?
No, I'll grab the train.
All right.
The A-line.
All right. Easy.
I appreciate it.
You take care.
You as well.
Oh, paychecks are down at Maze Bank. Should be getting about at least $600 an hour.
Sounds good.
All right.
Appreciate it.
You take care. Oh my God. Oh fuck.